Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. We're back again. It's that time of the night where we have to talk about what happened in Pretoria High Court. Yeah, MNISI is happening in that court, and I know many people are just thinking, "Oh man, oh man." But look, I'm enjoying what is currently happening, and I'll tell you for many reasons. Because first of all, I know for sure it's gonna be difficult to get justice for Senzo Meyiwa. It's almost impossible considering the zigzag that we had to go through. So, what is currently happening is unexpected. You know, there are a lot of things that are happening that way unexpected. But I'm enjoying that part, and I must tell you, you should enjoy it too. You know, you just enjoy these small victories. This is a small victory. Enjoy it. Yeah, guys, we're here. And just in advance, before we start any further, just remember that you can call today. Definitely, you can call on WhatsApp or on a phone call. The WhatsApp call is 067 0343, and then we have the phone call, which is 071-153-7006. But before we do that, we're definitely going to give Emily a chance to shine as usual. She always shine in front of this camera. Yeah, so, but loosen up, you know, stop fussing. This case is a torture, and now it has become a torture, I think, to even people who are part of it, you know?
Yeah.
It is not only torturing the people that are watching, it is also torturing people who are part of this thing. Because tell me, what are you going to report as a prosecutor if you sit in one case for this long? How can we defend you as a prosecutor and say you are working diligently, you are doing your work, you are sitting in one case? And I can assure you almost this is just basically almost one or two if there are any other cases. That means you have passed on some other cases to other colleagues who are definitely shining on the other side. But because you wanted to be in this case, and I think initially it was an easy, straightforward penalty. You just shoot no goalkeeper, but by grace, then there was these mushrooming things, you know, and then they started mushrooming and mushrooming and mushrooming into a point where they were uncontrollable. It's a greetings, you know, I'm greeting you and I'm saying it's nice to be here. It's nice to be back. Emily, greet our people.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another live stream. Yo, it's been a while. It has been a while, so I'm glad to be back. And yes, we'll be talking about that brief court appearance that happened today at the Pretoria High Court. There was a lot of things happening around what was supposed to have happened today or what could have happened today and all of that. But Mr. Anonymous and I, and hopefully you, once we are done with the summaries and sharing our thoughts as to what happened with the proceedings, you can call in and share your 2 cents, and we can keep it moving, you know? And Mr. Anonymous, you're saying at a later stage, you're going to be sharing the small anyana victory. The small victory, eh?
No, I'm saying these are small victories that you should celebrate.
Why must we
The
celebrate?
dragging, which in my opinion, it was not part of the script, if you ask me. It is now becoming an issue, you know, because now with this dragging, new things are allowed. But let's continue, man.
Okay.
You know, I'm just going to end up saying almost everything that I need to say when you are done with the video.
So, Advocate Charles MNISI was said to inform Judge Ratam Khwatling how far he is in terms of preparation to proceed with the trial on May 19th. So it was a very brief sitting, and it was expected to be a short sitting today. It wasn't supposed to take that long. Although I may not be too certain, but I don't think I picked up the part where he was asked how far he was. He just declared that by the 19th he will be ready. Right. So after a long time of waiting, because there was quite a period of waiting earlier on in the morning, the accused finally arrived in court, and we were then informed that Mshololo and Ngumalo were not in. They asked Ramasipili to stand in for them. And Ramasipili said that on Friday he received a telephone call from both Advocate Ngumalo and Mshololo, and they were telling him and asking him to stand in for them since they are both in KZN, KwaZulu-Natal. And he asked the court to go and confirm with their clients whether they got, they were informed, and whether they know that their legal counsel will not be showing up to court today. And Ramasipili confirmed when he came back to ask them, and they said that they don't have a problem with him standing in for their legal counsel. And the judge asked if they could also confirm, and they did via the interpreter. So Advocate Baloyi said that the right of cross-examination in respect to accused number 1 had been reserved to the 19th of May. Right. However, the case was postponed to today for Advocate MNISI to give an indication of how far he was with preparation for cross-examination, while MNISI stood to confirm that they can definitely proceed on the 19th. So he will be proceeding with cross-examination of Brigadier Gininda on the 19th for accused number 1. And he confirmed that he'll be ready by the 19th. So Brigadier Gininda was not in court today, and in the previous proceeding he was excused that he didn't have to show up today. He would rather show up on the 19th. And yeah, it's proceeding. Baloyi said that Advocate MNISI did request certain information from the state, and that they had furnished that information to Advocate MNISI. The judge asked what that information was, and Baloyi said that the first item that he requested was the AVL records for the Toyota Fortuner for the date of the 6th of June 2020, and that has been furnished to them. The second item that was recorded was the AVL item for the Red Golf that was used by Sergeant Mohola on the 30th of May 2020. So Baloyi said that he referred them to the relevant extracts of the evidence of Mr. Dupree, who said that the Red Golf was not fitted with the AVL. Do you guys remember that? There was time when Mr. Dupree was testifying, and he had said on record that the Red Golf that Sergeant Mohola was said to have been traveling in on the day that Moses Bia was arrested, that's accused number 1, was arrested, it had not been fitted with AVL. And we were all shocked. I think I was shocked that it's a police vehicle and yet it's not being fitted with AVL. And that's how I've come to find out that not all of the vehicles that are used by SAPS are fitted with AVL, I guess. We will just assume that. Well, he said that they obtained the affidavit of the facility manager in the South African police indicating or confirming aspects of the evidence that the Golf was allocated to the cold case unit, as well as the Toyota Fortuner. So the judge asked that if they can recall the evidence, the Red Golf driven by the lady Sergeant Mohola. She did say that it was not fitted with AVL. Even Sergeant Mohola herself had said that. It was not fitted with AVL. So Baloyi agreed and said that it was also confirmed by Mr. Dupree, and they finished the defense with the extract of the evidence of Mr. Dupree. So as a way to say no AVL for the Red Golf, he also shared the transcript of what Mr. Dupree had said on record to say that the Red Golf did not have the AVL fitted on it. So MNISI said that because of these new developments, to him it's new developments, it necessitated them to go and see, because there were so many police that were involved there, including the Metro Cops, EMPD. Apparently they were striking today, allegedly, but the full details of EMPD strikes today I'm not clued up on them. I just saw breaking news, and then I'm waiting for the depth of this strike.
So there were no tickets today.
It seems like it. They were on a strike. In fact, they were given letters. I think they are warning letters for participating in the strike.
They should have told us in advance. What is this thing?
Hey, South Africa is busy in 2025.
So we want to drive freely. No cold drink, no nothing.
EMPD. Yeah, but that's what they said. There were Metro cops. So MNISI was saying definitely they have to go and sit down and pen a very formal letter and request that AVL records of all the vehicles that were involved there, because that is central to their defense. It does not only end with the vehicle that was driven by Mohola. MNISI said that it struck them very strange that the Fortuner was fitted with an AVL, and now they are requesting the AVL of the Red Golf, and then they are informed that it's not there. He said that they don't dispute the information that they are being told, but it is very strange that the record that was performing the very same function as the white Fortuner was not fitted with an AVL. Strange indeed, but it is what it is. And I find that we are in this position, which is, it's difficult, ne?
It is. It is very hard. But unfortunately, we find ourselves here. What can we do? If you ask me, you can do up to that far, you know? It was going to be difficult. And thank you, Sizwe. Thank you, Lindy. I think people who are gifting us. Thank you. God bless you. It's been a while indeed, Sizwe.
It's been a while, guys.
Right. So it is very hard, you know, to eventually get these things to, in my opinion, to align. You know, it was going to be a hard part. And that's where this is going. You know, and it's gonna be hard, and I can tell you right now, something is gonna happen to those cars, or they're not there, or they're gonna disappear. But there is no AVL that is coming for these other cars. There's only one car, because when you set these things, they must align. There's only one car that is gonna have an AVL. I can bet you money, if anything was to come, I'll be surprised.
You'll be shocked.
I'll be shooked.
It's only the Toyota Fortuner.
Because you know what?
Why?
It's hard. It's hard to have a loading, for example, what AVL GPS unlock. You know, it's gonna be very hard to. You know, it's if they're not gonna come with a store of private cars during a particular day, that is important. I don't see this coming. I don't, because even that one looked a bit scrapey, the AVL. You're gonna bring a second one to be compared with the first one.
The Fortuna one helped put together the story of the accused number 2 in particular. It gave a little bit of, you know, that thing to his version of events of what had happened. It showed to some of us that I would guess his version so coincided with the movement of the vehicle than the version that was given by Mohola and Mohani.
Yeah.
They had to come back and now remember that actually they were stuck somewhere for a good 2 to 3 hours in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yes.
So for me, it really assisted in putting the story of accused number 2 of what happened to him on that night, where he alleges that he was made to sign, or rather initial, a confession that was already written according to his version. So MNISI said that he does not know which criteria that they used to determine which vehicle needed to be fitted with an AVL record or not. He does not know. But that be as it may, it does not end there. They proceed to request further AVL records from the motor vehicles that were also involved in relation to the arrest of accused number 1 and number 2 as well. Because those records are central to what they want to come and tell this court, and some of the aspects that they want to put to the witnesses that are currently testifying, and those that state that they might wish to call in respect to this particular aspect. Now, this to me, it sounded like we know that the defense is also preparing their case, right? So Brigadier Gininda, according to the state, they said he's the last witness. But the defense now, after they're done with Brigadier Gininda, they also need to present their case. So they need the AVL records to present their case as well. And the judge and how he made it seem like they are requesting it only for cross-examination of witnesses. It was kind of like weird. I don't know how to digest it. Well, then Ramasepeli also said that it had come to their attention that several police officers, especially in his defense for accused number 2, that were central in the events of the 16th, 17th, and the 18th, and the 19th and the 24th of June, they have not received those AVLs, and they are central to the movement as to where accused number 1 was taken and by whom. So he went on to similarly pen a formal correspondence to the state to request those AVLs for the Metro police officers that were involved in the arrest of accused number 2. So Baloyi said that Mr. Ramasepeli was done with his cross-examination, so he was not sure if he wanted to have a second bite at the cherry. So as to, meaning that he wants it to now a cross-examine Brigadier Gininda again. I don't think that's why Ramasepeli is asking for them, in my opinion. Like I shared before, they have a case to present after they're done with Brigadier Gininda.
And also, it is funny that you hear such submission, considering the fact that you still need those things to actually create your own defense, your arguments and whatnot.
What is he planning to do?
I was even surprised that Ramasepeli was just quiet when Baloyi was using that as a defense. It just hold no water. It is just throwing something, hoping for something to come out. And okay, well, he kept quiet. It's okay. He kept his cards on his chest, which is good for him also. It's part of defense also to do so. The war that the states now have, and perhaps with the judge, is when they suggested an existing person, and I can almost be that certain that the hope was that Ramasepeli is the one who takes over. Why Ramasepeli? Because some of the witnesses he had already cross-examined. So he was not gonna be, and he was cross-examining them for both accused 1 and 2. So he was not gonna be allowed to reopen that. MNISI's direction right now is to reopen even the witnesses that were done and dusted, which disturbed the state's processes, because you know what the state's idea, in my opinion, was to start from the end to the front. And they've done that successfully. But then this issue of Mngomezulu passing away, it sort of opened that process to scrutiny. Now MNISI can go back and say, yes, I cross-examined this person, but I was cross-examining this person for accused number 3, which the circumstances and how they were arrested and all that were different. My client, accused number 3, was already in prison when he was arrested for this case, when he was taken for this case. But accused number one on the other side, he was outside. So I'm allowed to go and open, because I'm a new attorney that is being instructed on this. I'm a new advocate. I'm getting new instructions. Whether, in fact, I'm wrong to even say they are new, because that's what the judge was trying to drive. By saying they are new, that would mean that accused number one had ample time of letting this information be known to his counsel, but it did not. Therefore, the fault will be with him. That's what the judge was pushing for. In a sense, even as saying, I would assume this is new. Why are you jumping into assumption of new? Who said this is new? Why do you want to know what was said between a client and an advocate? Why are you interested in that as a judge? What business do you have in probing that, even using common sense? What business? Where does it help you? Where does it assist this case? Or you want to close that part of MNISI being able to call these people?
Does he?
So there is a problem with how this case now is going. That's why I said celebrate even small victories, because what is currently happening is unprecedented. It is something that was not going to be predetermined. What is currently happening is new. With those AVL, if they come, if they don't come, MNISI is going to be allowed to open that path, however he wants to open it and however he wants to play it. And I can assure you, the assumptions and thinking and waiting is very, very agonizing. It is difficult. It is hard for them to wait and see where MNISI was going. They undermined this whole process, in my opinion. They thought they would have someone that they would close easily. MNISI is not closable. He's seasoned in that process. So it's going to be hard to close MNISI. With, I think, Ramsey Peter, they would have played that ball off. But you did cross-examine for these people. You know,
yes.
There was that suggestion.
Yes, even with MNISI.
So now with MNISI, he cross-examined some of them, but it was not because of accused number one. So accused number one starts on a clean slate. And that's a problem, because some of them were found wandering and they were waiting for Gininda to come and sweep everything, you know, subsequently. And it was happening, almost happening.
Yeah.
With not answering differently, saying
that the person that they're asking pertaining to should be the one to answer those questions and not him.
Now, Gininda is going to be done. Now go back to Bomucha. Imagine if you get that chance. Because whatever Gininda is going to say and try to push back to Mkhan, now it can be probed.
Yes, the state
the record can speak for itself and say, yeah, but you said, and Gininda also said 1, 2, 3. So what is happening? Now that's a problem that in that court is not wanted, in my opinion.
So in that court, witnesses are called in reverse.
Yes, I said it.
So yes, you did say it. So the person that knows the least is the one that is called first, or the person who is a leader and takes full accountability. They are rated according to the accountability that they should take, and they're taken in reverse. So instead of having Brigadier Gininda come and testify first,
the person that knows more is called first.
How so?
For example, Bomukhane and everyone else were there when these people were arrested from the word go. But when they did not, in my opinion, feel like answering a question,
They said Brigadier Kinini.
They pushed it to Brigadier Kinini.
Yes.
But then Brigadier Kinini comes and say, I only entered in this process when this was happening and that, which is selective, which is a small portion. If you compare to the people that arrested these people, they took them with they went back, look for jackets and all those things. That those people are people that were supposed to be at the end. If we were doing this case in a manner that would favor everyone, and we're not afraid of anything. So people who knew more about the apprehending of these people and all these things, they were put first.
Okay.
To say the least, because you do not have sources. Like, you taste the meat without putting soap, and then by the time when you're getting salt and everything, then you know how it's gonna taste, like what you need to reduce, what you need to add, and all that. Everything is gone. You don't have no meat in a pot, so you are left with soap. With soap to eat. That's basically what happened with this case. And classically, that's how, in my opinion, you get out of the case that is this complicated. It was on point because it lose. Tell me, it did not lose
steam.
Steam.
It did.
It did, because the people that had more to say were gone.
Yes.
So we are left with someone who's gonna speak in cycle and talk about papers. I've went to fetch papers and those things, and then that was it. You know, that's how this case was created. People who can incriminate, in my opinion, people who can, because they know more, they started with them. Bozandi, for example.
Yes.
Those are
actually people that should have come at a later stage after the investigating
so this
officer
one
was done.
who's there?
In normal cases,
Hey.
I guess you even saw with the Jocelyn case, the investigating officer is the one who started.
Yes.
And then the witnesses came to add on to the findings of the investigator.
Exactly.
In this court case, it's totally different.
People who know what happened in that house, they started.
Yeah.
While you are busy warming up, it's already funny. It's that type of situation.
Yeah.
It's already funny. You don't understand what is going on. You don't understand the game. 10 minutes started. You are already 4 down. So how are you going to recover from that? You end up getting frustrated to wrong people. And this person who's standing there, in my opinion, is the wrong person. The people we need are people who were in the house and people who apprehended these people. Their process needs to be questioned. We need to validate how they did it, whether their story is matching the AVL for everyone. They even called people of a JMPD, those guys.
Yes.
Those guys, now they can come back and explain how their AVL, if it does not match, it does not match with the so-called fortune.
And also someone as well from this unit of, but it can't be, it has to be EMPD. Ukuthi, how come other police vehicles don't have AVL? For what reason?
It's not the MPD that needs to explain that. It's SAPS, because that car belongs to SAPS, right?
Yes.
That red Polo, the so-called red Polo.
Under what circumstances do they not
It
have
will be interesting to
AVL?
actually see if that car was ever on the list, on the register that they say it was on. You know, it would be very interesting. I don't know. I don't think there was ever a Polo, red Polo. If it was there, okay, maybe it was there because one of the accused talked about it, right?
Yeah, they said it's the actual car that was stalking him, that was looking at him before the arrest.
So it was never going to have an AVL because AVL was going to show a lot of things. You know, so it was never going to have an AVL. Same as this one, because this one now, You see, if it comes, the JMPD, if it comes with an AVL, it's going to show the hospital. It's going to show a lot of things. And nobody wants that in that court. Nobody. More in my thinking, from the prosecutor's side, I don't think they're going to come with that.
So it's going to be also interesting because as the defense present the case of the accused, how are they going to defend? That's going to be very interesting. Are they going to be whopping new evidence? Let's say maybe
they're going to contradict. It's not their job to bring per se new evidence that much.
To contradict what the defense would be saying.
For example, the ballistic, they're going to contradict that. They probably, if they get an expert, which I think that they could have, who's going to come and also maybe testify on that. Right. It will be very interesting, you know. So they are going to come with their theories, and which are not far from what we had. And then they are going to bring then some of the investigators that were dumped, maybe. And then let us wait what else comes out.
All right. So Baloyi said that Mr. Ramasepeli was done with his cross-examination, so he was not sure if he wants to have a second bite at the cherry. As soon as they have received the request, he can then deal with that. So Baloyi said that they were also asked for the AVL in respect of the white BMW. And he said the court would recall that there was also... it was also made mention of the white BMW used by Sergeant Meyiwa.
Useless. And that's how they've been doing this thing. They like dwelling on a useless thing. I'm telling you why it's useless, that BMW.
Why is it useless?
Because they're going to go and fetch the BMW that was bought later.
In 2022.
Yes, and these people are talking about the BMW that is older. So it's useless to bring that thing. So they're going to use that to contradict. They make these people look like they are lying.
They had already started. That's how this Mogola's BMW was introduced.
So nobody asked for that BMW. Now, nobody's asking for that, but they are including it because there must be this cloud behind everything that is said. And they have all the cards, obviously. The problem is that I think it is too long of a, I don't want to say if a lie, but I don't know what word I can use.
Contradiction.
And it is difficult to come back. Allegedly. It is hard to come back from that. You know, if I was to talk to you for like 2 hours and then you keep on lying and lying and lying and lying and lying, and then 3 hours, 4 hours, then I go back to your first lie. You probably have forgotten that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my thinking. I'm not saying it's BMW levels Yolanda, it's useless. But it's useful for them because they are going to prove, because in that court it's all about what you can prove.
Yeah.
What I would be interested in, however, is the other BMW. If it does exist, as it has been alleged that some kid is driving,
have to find a way to introduce it.
If you bring that BMW, then my soul will be at peace, because you would have brought the suspected one, right? Yeah.
It would be interesting if it could be introduced.
So this one is just coming back.
I don't know how, since the state is saying it does not exist.
I don't know if they can say the BMW does not exist, right?
According to
Do
the
you
state.
have a car, or have you ever had a car, a BMW
They should
car
ask him now. Have you ever had a BMW
from the States?
From the state.
Do
from the
you
SAPS?
personally have it?
Have you ever driven a BMW?
Do
have
you have
had it in your possession?
If you don't have it, if you haven't driven it,
never
if you
had
no
it.
member of your family has driven any BMW, it's okay.
Never had it. Okay, it's fine. You jot it down. He's never had a BMW.
That's how you bring it in then.
Never had it.
Yeah. Because that's a BMW that would be, if it's there, if it exists, if it's, well, now we have a very interesting story. Yeah, one of that white one is doing what has been happening in this case. You know, in this case, what I've realized, it's about proximity. You know, it's a game of proximity.
Yes.
They have the system, in my opinion, which can be manipulated. And then these guys only have their brains. Shame.
Yeah.
They say I was at, if I say I was at Deep Sloot, and then someone says, actually AVL says you were in 4 ways. In fact, 4 ways and Deep Sloot is one thing. You know, if I say I was in Bara, then someone says you were in Soweto. You know, it's
the same thing.
And
Bara is in Soweto.
And if, honestly speaking, I was a judge and I was listening to that, and I would consider that these people are using their brains. And these people are not a map, but they are able to put points,
stories
closer.
They told the
and
tale.
Sometimes even exactly where they are supposed to be. Closer. In the same area. The difference is that I say I was in Bara and then someone was in Soweto. And that makes it look like a big lie. That you have lied so much. And that's how that caught. That has been my problem. You know, these guys, when it comes to that map, they were on point. You know, they were on point.
I listened to the judgment in the Jocelyn case, and I heard how the judge used what the witnesses were saying to come to the verdict that he came to say that she's guilty and the 2 co-accused are also guilty. And I'm listening to it. The judge took a stand and said, I'm going to go by what these witnesses are saying, and I'm going to give the verdict that I'm giving, supported by what the witnesses and the findings have been. Now I'm wondering that since in this court that we are in, the version of the people who are alleging things to have happened to them is not even being entertained. It's going to be quite interesting at the verdict in this case to see.
You look at the judge in that court.
What is going to say exactly?
There are many differences that you can already spot. One, that judge is quiet and listening attentively. That's the first thing. Only really asking for clarity.
Clarity-seeking questions.
And that is clarity-seeking questions, and
That
that's
is
it.
asking,
There
yes.
is nothing that you can analyze behind that. There was nothing that you could analyze behind
Straightforward.
that. No white noise.
Nope.
And then you have this one. You know the rest.
So the judge said that they would also recall that they made mention of that white BMW like I had mentioned previously. Well, the judge said that the funny thing about this matter is that when all the counsel undertook the cross-examination of Dupree, Mogola and Mogani, they never made these requests. So now he was speaking in terms of them asking for AVL records, and he, according to him, is saying that they should have asked for those records when Dupree, Mogola and Mogani Mokhane were testifying, according to my recollection, they did ask for them. There's no harm in asking again. You know, I mean, can you imagine had they stopped asking for the logbooks and pocket books of Sergeant Mokhane, where that would have ended up? You understand? What I'm realizing with being a defense attorney or a defense advocate, you have to keep asking for things, unfortunately. Sometimes they will come, sometimes they won't, but you just have to keep asking, especially if there's a strong gut feeling that those things can be found. Any opportunity to get them, you must just ask for them, because literally as a defense, you're not working with much. You know, you're working with the word of mouth of what your client is instructing and telling you. So you need to back it up. You know, you need to help that case, strengthen that case by backing it up. So with the AVLs, it's not the first time that they did ask, but some force of nature, the judge seems to have amnesia concerning that, and he's deciding to declare and put it on record that these people are asking for this for the very first time now, when Brigadier Gininda is almost done. So they never made these requests according to him, and they never transversed on the request that they need the AVL of the BMW, etc., etc. So Baloyi agreed that they never requested. Then the judge said that they just cross-examined to their satisfaction without mentioning that. But now this is cross-examination, and this cross-examination relates to the evidence of Gininda, not the other witnesses. So Baloyi said that it's by accused number 1, and the other accused have already cross-examined. So MNISI said that he needed to put this clear. Legally, he is obliged to refollow each and every instruction as it is given to him. It doesn't matter that there are other officers who testified, and these issues were never raised, and he's only following instructions that he received from accused number 1 as his new counsel after the passing away of Mr. Mgomezulu, you know. So he had to re-emphasize that this is my first time representing accused number 1. Right, I'm only receiving these instructions from him now. Let us not act or pretend to be the case that I've received these instructions before. Even though they did ask the previous counsel, including Mr. Mgomezulu, for the AVL of that red Golf, the AVL of the BMW, and these are the stories that they were told, that the BMW belongs to Mohola. And they were also told that the red Golf did not have AVL. So the judge asked if he must never assume that accused number 1 never instructed Mr. Mgomezulu, his previous attorney, to follow up. MNISI said that he was not privy to what happened between the two of them, Mr. Mgomezulu and accused number 1. And the judge said that he consulted him. He asked if he's consulted accused number 1. And MNISI said that he might not divulge the content of his consultation on record. He was really pushing to find out whether accused number 1 had told him anything with regards to the follow-ups that Advocate Mgomezulu had done with regards to this AVL, and MNISI was not bowing down to that. So the judge said that he did not have the wisdom of Mandela to say that, did you instruct your previous counsel Mgomezulu to do A, B, C, and D?
It must follow. To be Mandela to know that, to ask that. He is pushing, man. He wanted
pushing. He wanted to know. It's almost like he wants to know everything that Mgomezulu was discussing with accused number 1. Like, it's so weird. It's like, why do you want to know? MNISI started from scratch. Even if he did, it's none of your business. I don't believe that it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's none. It has nothing to do with you. It's attorney-client privilege for a reason. You understand? So MNISI said that it is privileged information again, and he may not divulge into the record. The judge said that common sense has to tell MNISI that he has to transverse that. Otherwise, then MNISI just laughed it off, you know, and sat down. And I was like, yeah, this is crazy.
Right,
This
guys.
is insane.
I see that we are buffering, but yeah, continue. I'm sure the sound is fine.
All right. So the judge said cross-examination only traverses what has been testified to by a particular witness. And Baloy said one can go outside a witness's evidence in cross-examination. And in cross-examination, one can cover any aspect as long as it is admissible in terms of the law. So they postponed it to the 19th of May. The judge asked if on that day they would be continuing, and MNISI said the fact that they would have not received this information would not stop them from proceeding. Meaning the AVL records. So even if they don't receive them, it's fine. It will not interfere with his cross-examination come the 19th. The judge repeated the question and he said that it was very simple. And he eventually got that definite answer from Advocate MNISI that yes, they will be proceeding on the 19th. And that is when cross-examination of Brigadier Gilinda will be continuing. So until the 19th, it is. Yes.
Yes, Bafetita. I don't have much to say. I think I have exhausted everything.
Yeah, especially with regards to the smallanyana victories. The
I'm getting
smallanyana
something on my throat. This is that time of the night.
victories. The smallanyana Yabo. Mr. Anonymous, you did say the lines.
Yeah, but I'm seeing these lines also off internet. They're buffering.
The
man.
buffering.
I don't know, but you guys can call if you feel that you are still, we are still audible. They can call. Let us hear what you guys have
I
to
remember
say. But
getting
please press the like
requests.
button.
I remember getting requests for some of our family members saying, can you please cover the Jocelyn case? Guys, I could not cover the Jocelyn case because one, it's a minor and I always feel like super emotional when it comes to cases of kids. Even with the CHICCO case, it took me so long. The only reason why I decide to cover it now because I'm seeing something fishy are going on. But with regards to Jocelyn's case, there hasn't been really fishy things happening with regards to abuses of power and all of this weirdness that we're experiencing with Senzo's case. You know what I mean? And I saw the coverage was superb from the beginning, from the day that Jocelyn went missing. I think the media did their part and they played their role from the beginning. You understand what I'm saying? And I knew that justice would be served. Yes, I was irritated by Kelly's behavior sometimes. I was, but then I knew that justice was going to prevail. That is Cape Town, by the way. Of Cape Town, somehow, once it reaches court stages, you can see even the judges, they're disciplined. Everything is prim and proper. So there wasn't much of complaints, and I didn't hear a lot of people complaining about the proceedings. There was too much discipline, But then when it comes to other cases, like Senzo's case, for example, that's when you see that not the same rhythm is happening. You see, Mr. Anonymous?
Yes.
Not the same rhythm
Yes.
is happening. It's so weird. And that is why I cover such.
Right, guys. Yeah, I think Emily, it's our cue to exit. I don't see anything. Considering that I have something in my hands, I need to exit.
Yes. Okay, guys, until the next time, that's it from us. It's a wrap. And if you need to say anything, the WhatsApp line is open. You can send us a WhatsApp. But until then, I sizobona in between.